The student loan crisis has gone nuts, okay? It's gone off the friggin' rails. An average monthly payment is about $503 per month. What? That's like a brand new Tesla. But instead, you get the job of your dreams, except that you hate your job and it doesn't keep up with inflation. An average salary of a bachelor's degree is $60,000. So you end up donating about 15% of your post-tax income to these guys. But don't worry, they're chill. Unless you miss a payment, then they'll sue your ass and take every hydro flask that you own. It takes an average of 20 years to pay off a student loan. That means your loan is not only old enough to graduate high school, but it's old enough to get its own loans and graduate with an associate's degree. But it wasn't always like this. 15 years ago, the average monthly payment was less than half of what it is today. So how did we get here? How? So I did a bunch of research and I made a PowerPoint to find out what the is going on. We're gonna find out why the student loan number is so high today. We're also gonna find out why your student loan might be going up in value even though you're making monthly payments. What the is that about? And we're gonna look at the best ways to pay off student debt altogether. Just run, get out of here. Student loans can't get you in Canada. Oh wait, yes they can. They're actually the only debt that doesn't go away even with bankruptcy. We will also get into the world of federal student aid acronyms. Do you know what PSUFL means? How about save? No? How about repay? No, not repay, repayee. How about just payee? All right, disclaimer, there's a lot of conflicting information as I was doing the research. Articles have varying numbers and they just point to the Federal Reserve or like the budget office as a source, but these sources don't have any data tables and they're like the complete opposite of intuitive. Also, the Federal Student Aid website is a complete show. There's conflicting information everywhere and you end up leaving the site just to find out if something's true or not. On top of that, there's a bunch of vocab terms that make it even more frustrating to understand. After all, when someone's making a major financial decision, it's not like they have to understand what they're signing up for. All right, so what's going on here? Out of 96 million people in America, 43 million have student loans. That's 13% of the US, baby. Let's go. Out of those, 6.3 million are actually still in school. Nerds. That was a dumb joke. 25.6 million are in forbearance because they just can't bear to handle the payments. You probably didn't understand that because I haven't explained what forbearance is. And 4.8 million are in default. These folks kind of like accidentally spawned into a professional Rocket League tournament and they're holding like a potato for a controller. On the last slide I mentioned forbearance, but there's also deferment. They're both options designed to help borrowers during financial struggles. Unfortunately, they're designed by the same people that want to suck as much cash as they can from these helpless, fragile, starving borrowers. And it gets a little bit confusing because both of these mean pretty much the same thing, but the information online, including the student aid website, is kind of misleading. So in a typical loan, you have two parts. You have the principal and you have the interest. The principal pays down your loan and the interest gets paid to the bank as like a thank you for letting you borrow money. So loan forbearance is when you temporarily stop making monthly payments, but only the principal is paused. The interest is still due. Well, not right away, but after the forbearance period. This is like if someone told you they're gonna give you $1,000 in a month, but instead, they sucker punched you in the face. Loan deferment, on the other hand, is also when you temporarily stop making payments. The principal is also paused, but the interest is paid by the Department of Education. But wait, not always, because sometimes it gets capitalized, which is a fancy way of saying, oh, you thought we were gonna help you? Huh? No, we want your money, you idiot. Capitalization means the accrued interest gets added to the total value of the loan. So now you'll have to pay interest on the interest that was capitalized. I love it when the financial world tries to help me. On a serious note, try your best to avoid going into forbearance or deferment. It may seem like a good financial move at the moment, but it will leave you in a worse situation than where you started, and it will make you cry. You want numbers? We got numbers! That was way too strong. Damn it. The United States is currently $1.77 trillion in student loan debt. That's a big number. If the student loan debt was a country, it would be the 12th largest country in the world. But it probably wouldn't stay there because once Australia realized they got bumped down, they would probably just attack it with all their kangaroos or koalas. Now we have a hard time comprehending large numbers like this. To help you visualize this amount, imagine Shaquille O'Neal standing next to a football field. If you cover the field with $100 bills and stack it up to Shaq's height, you would get $1 trillion. So the total student debt would be that, plus another 3/4 of a football field. Here's the change in the student debt over the last 28 years. Now I want to point out that it's extremely hard to find any data before 2006. And anything before 1995? Yeah, that gone. From 1995 to 2023, the student debt increased by about 9 times. This insane increase brings up some questions. Did the cost of college increase by 9 times? Are there 9 times less scholarships given out? Are 9 times more people going to college? Are more people staying in college longer, like graduate programs? Spoiler alert, it's a combination of all these things. Or is it? I guess you have to watch and find out. Tuition. It's gone up by 3 times. The amount of people going to school, it's increased. In fact, the amount of people doing a 4-year degree and a graduate degree both increased by about 3 times. Scholarships. In 1975, it covered pretty much 80% of your total college cost. Now it covers about 30. Now they technically didn't decrease. In fact, more scholarships are given out, but because tuition's a lot more expensive and more people are going, scholarships end up covering a smaller portion of the total educational cost. There's a bunch of other private scholarships you can get from like an organization or a foundation, but that's idealization, and a lot of the times they leave you with a false hope of anticipation, causing you to question civilization, leading to barbarization, and maybe a little bit of constipation. Thank you for coming tonight. So even though there's more free money available, the cost of college has increased and more people are getting stuffed into freshman dorms, resulting in borrowers paying 15% of their income to the bank. To top it off, forbearance and deferment also assists in shoving these borrowers down a hole. Donna made a video about how someone can be making consistent monthly payments, but their loan value could still increase.
What the f? What the f?
Usually loans have some sort of a term, like 10 years. So as long as you're making monthly payments consistently, your loan will be paid off in 10 years. However, in Donna's video, or Donna, the loan increases after a year of consistent monthly payments. This is probably a special case because the borrower is either in deferment or forbearance, and they're only paying a portion of their monthly payment. So it's like if you follow her financially in life, the bank will reach out and give you a hand, but as you start to feel the warm and kind gesture, the bank actually judo flips you into a pile of angry bees. They're also on fucking fire. At this point, you might be thinking, if I go into forbearance or deferment, do I even have a chance in this world? Is there even a point to try to crawl out? Well, lucky for you, because there is repayment plans. Yay! Repayment programs! Here's just a few. Just note that as you move down, you end up paying less per month, but you end up paying more over the life of the loan. Think of a 10-year loan like someone stabbed you in the thigh with a Buck Model 110 folding hunter's knife. But a 25-year loan is like they slowly inserted it for an extra 15 years. Both would hurt, but the second would be a bitch. Let's dive a little further into discretionary plans. These are what I call the bank giving you the same present with a different colored bow on top. But the joke's on you because the present is just your tears over 25 years. These are all pretty much the same repayment plan, just with different income portions and loan lengths. To make it even more complicated, some of these only apply to certain loan types. If you really have to do a repayment plan, don't do any of these. Stick with the standard, it's the least worst. Now, is there any tricks to get out of student loans? You may be thinking, Alex, what's the point of me paying the loan off if they're just gonna cancel it? Well, think again. Biden did try to forgive $400 billion in student debt, but he lost that fight with the Supreme Court last June. But now he's putting his diamond armor back on for a second cage match, sometime maybe next year.
Student Loan Forgiveness 2024!
There's a public service loan forgiveness program that applies to some professions after 120 monthly payments. But at that point, your loan probably got paid off anyway. There's also a loan forgiveness plan for teachers. There are a few other forgiveness programs, but they're very situation specific, and they pretty much require for you to have been cheated or lied to by your school. Now, if you don't have any student debt because you haven't gone to school yet, consider a trade job. Instead of 4 years, you can attend school for 2 years and make decent money. The average trade salary is $66,000 a year. That's not bad. You could be a wise technician or a skilled electrician, or heck, maybe even a successful musician. These are all great jobs that require only 2 years, meaning less student loans, meaning more money in your pocket every month, which you can use to buy the most recent Tom Cruise Fortnite skin. Now, what if you do have student loans? What's the best strategy to pay those little f***ers off? Are you $10,000 in debt? Because that's the only 10 I see. We're going to Tennessee. Dave Ramsey's there.
$3,200 in car payments? Oh my gosh!
Dave has two effective methods of paying off student debt: the snowball method and selling your kids. Now, the snowball method's good, but imagine it more like a fireball that's rolling down Mount Everest, and you're on top of Mount Everest watching it roll down because you just set the world record for the fastest Mount Everest climb. You look at your phone and your mom's calling you to congratulate you, but little does she know that you actually cheated. You used a helicopter that's painted that really, really dark black color to get up there, and now you're wondering, do I pick up the phone? Why is the snowball on fire? How am I gonna get down because I lost the f***ing helicopter? So the snowball method is attacking the smaller loans first and paying them off. Then as you start to wipe loans off your record, you're gonna get psychologically motivated to continue. And yeah, it's probably the best way to do it. An alternative would be to tackle the highest interest ones first, but that requires a little bit more planning and less fireballs. Still fireballs, just less of them. Don't sell your kids. I wanna leave you with this. Back when I was in college, I was a tour guide. And as a tour guide, you get a presentation once a year from the admissions office about how the school is doing. Like how many students are enrolled, how does the school compare to other schools in the state, and what is the revenue of the school? When the presenter got to the slide about revenue, he said something like, "This year we made $3 million more than last year." And the room was silent. Probably because no one is paying attention, but it wasn't the response he was looking for. Then he went on to say, "This is great news, we made more money." And the whole room started cheering. And as the room was cheering, I was sitting there thinking, you want us to be happy that you took more money from us. So with all of that, I'm just saying that schools are a business. When you're thinking about getting a further education, think of it as like a product you're buying. Sure, there should be more education about how you finance this purchase, but it's up to you to find out which product is the right one for you. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe. Thank you.